Well, hello everyone. This is part 2 of custom jetways for Microsoft Flight Simulator. In this video / tutorial, I'll show you how to add sound to your jetways using Wwise. Now to do that, we need an audio editor as well. So for this video, I'm gonna use Audacity. It's a free program that you can download, and I'm going to show you just a little bit how it's done. Also, we need the sample project from Asobo. So if you click on Help, Samples, you get the Wwise project. Download that, install it into your computer, because we're going to work inside that folder. So let's see how the steps are. All right, so let's open Audacity, and then let me see if I don't want to go full screen. I hope you guys see well. Okay, let's bring it like this much. So I have two files, right? So I'm gonna just drag one of the files there. Now you see, like, it's a long WAV file. I really don't want to play that much, but let me highlight. So I just left click, highlight the whole thing. We're gonna go to Effects, Volume and Compression, and then just click Normalize and then Apply. So this will normalize the sound. Now you see it's louder now. Let's go. I know there's nothing here, it's like just noise, because the aircraft it's approaching. So let's see. All right, so this is where my sound comes in, right? So maybe we can set. So we're gonna set the length of the sound that we want to be played, but make sure you don't go too long. You don't want the files to be too big. So I will say maybe somewhere around here I'm gonna end. So I'm gonna leave that end noise because I want to show you something inside Wwise that you can not fix, but you can leave out. So now that I'm happy with the selection, let's go ahead and copy. So what I'm gonna do, you can either right click and say copy, and then control, let's see, actually no, we're gonna, let's see, track, add new track, stereo track, and then we're gonna go to the beginning and I'm gonna say paste. So now I have two tracks, and I can close the first one, and let's play this. As you can hear, I'm just playing that part, and I can copy and paste. So most likely I'm gonna have to play before this noise there, loud noise, and this is how I set up this. Now I don't want to stay too long in this. There's plenty of tutorials how to use this, but let's say if you have two sounds that you want to combine to an object, to a jetways, then you have to do it here. You cannot do it inside Wwise, so you need to do it here. Now how you do that, let's say I have a different, I'm going to show you a little bit. I have a different sound here. I'm going to bring that one here, and I have a beeping sound. So let's mute this. You have a mute button there, and just play this, right? So let's say I want to add this beeping noise, right? Okay, cool. What I can do, let's copy this, a couple of them, right? Let's say maybe up to here. Let's go right click, copy, and then add a track, stereo track. Let's go to the beginning, and then I'm just gonna say paste, right? Let's delete this. Maybe there's another way to do this. So you notice I copy a little bit more than that because I wasn't sure how long is the first one. So I'm gonna keep it the same length. So what I'm gonna do here, right click and cut, right? So now I have two sounds playing, right? Let's bring this to the beginning, right? And then if I mute that one, now I have two sounds playing, right? It should be able to have a mixer here. Let's see, view mixer. There you go. So now you view mixer. So now if I play the sound, I can manipulate the sound. So let's say I want audio one to be lower, I can lower that and then you hear the beat, right? Or the other way around. So now, it's important that you do this in here, combine all the sounds. You can only add one sound per object in the simulator. So you have to do this inside Audacity, okay? I'm gonna delete this track. I don't want this. Sorry, let's click on that. So now I'm just gonna leave this sound. I'm happy with this one. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go File, and I'm gonna say Export Audio. Let's don't show this. Export to computer, right? And then you name the sound. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna name this bell sound, and it has to be a wave file, and then a Microsoft wave file. Okay, that's correct. Stereo, 16 bits PCM. That's important that you stick with that. The sample rate can be 44,100, but the encoding, it has to be 16 bits PCM, right? And then you're just gonna export, folder where to export. Obviously, let's go and do it on a desktop, right? And then export. And there it is, right there. Bell sound. Okay. Let's, no, I don't wanna save this. So now I have the bell sound. I'm gonna delete the other two. And that's our sound. Next step, we're done with the Audacity. So you install the sample project. Let's open Wwise. So I'm gonna go through this process with you because it's very important. The version of the Wwise. So if I go to Wwise, I uninstall everything so I can do this from scratch. And this is very important that you follow these steps. Now, according to Microsoft SDK documentation, we need to get Wwise, which is 2019.2.5, build 7349. Okay, so to do that, let's go on the bottom here. We see here it says latest. No, we're gonna say all, and then we're gonna go 2019.2, and then here 0.5, 2019.2.5, 78349. Okay. Now, if you watch this video, let's say in half a year from now, or down the road, make sure you check with SDK documentation, because the version could change after whatever they release other updates for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So today is June 27, 2024. So as of today, this is the version. Also, we will need to install two plugins, and that's very important. One is going to be SoundSeed Air, and then Convolution. This is the two plugins that we need to install as well. if you already have Wwise installed, I would recommend you to uninstall it and do these steps again. Okay, so we're gonna go, let's see, install. So now it's gonna get you to this page. So let's click on the samples, and then we have Microsoft, right? Windows and Microsoft installer. Okay. Target directory, I'm gonna leave it whatever it wants to. Okay, let's go next. And here's the plugins, right? You see we have mastering suite, uncheck that one. So that's why I'm saying whatever it was installed, do not add anything extra. Let's stick with what SDK documentation is telling us. So we need the Wwise convolution. We're gonna check on that. And then the next one, sound seed air, right? So let's go down the library here, and so I'm gonna uncheck this. I don't need those. We have Wwise sound seed air. We're gonna leave that one on. Okay, let's go down. Auto headphone, no. Auto headphones, no. Isotope, no. This one, no. Let's go down. That's it. So the only two plugins that I'm going to install with this is the Sound Seed Air and Wwise Convolution. That's it. I'm just going to click install. While this is installing, I installed my SDK folder, sample folder inside C, hard drive C. Whatever you install your SDK or you download the file, you should see under samples, you should see Wwise and then Wwise sample project. This is where we're going to work on it. You cannot create a new project. Now, if I go to project, you see mine already notice that I have a flight sim and a version of Wwise sample, right? Now, I'm not sure if yours does the same thing, but if it doesn't, go to your sample project, Wwise sample project, and just click on the flight sim.w project, right? PORJ. You open that, you just open it and close it, and then it should be in here. Now, you need a license from Audiokinetic to work with this. Now, you can still follow the steps, the next steps, and we're gonna open Wwise and do all the steps. You can still follow, and I'll point to you where to stop, not to go forward if you don't have the license. Now to get the license, you can go to the project, you have the key here, and then register or obtain a license. Now when you open that, it's gonna take you to Audiokinetic. You have to have an account. Now I'm not gonna open with this browser. I already have it somewhere else, and I'm gonna go through these steps too. So once you have the account, you create the account. You go by your name here. Now I put I covered my name, but you click on the arrow and then you says register my project. I did it as a freeware, so I just click on non-commercial and then Wwise, and then I'm gonna say I need less than, no, actually I need more than. If you click on less, it say you're good to go, you don't need to register. But no, you click on I need more than 200 media assets. Please register your project details so that we can issue a free non-commercial license. So make sure you check I need more than 200 media, right? You go next. So at this point, you just fill up the form. One thing under the Wwise version, we're gonna go and select custom, other custom, and then you specify the version. Also make sure the target platform Windows is selected. as you can see on the screen. So version will be 2019.2.5 and then build 7349. Pre-production end date, select the, I think I went like July or so, like 2 months ahead. Make sure you give you time because this, they do expire. Now, once you do the sound, it will, your sound is not going to erase. It's just the license is going to expire. And then estimate date and then just put whatever, August 7. Just put a date in there. And let's go next. So just from now on, just follow the steps. I'm not, I already have the license agreement and the summary. I just want to point make sure that you set the correct version and everything in here to make sure they give you the correct license. Okay. Once you submit that, it takes, I would say, 24 hours. Less than 24 hours, they will send you an email. So make sure you use the correct email with the license. And once you've done that, doesn't matter of the name of the license. You come here, you go to the key. It should come out. You see, that's the license that I have. Now I covered it, obviously. I don't want you to use this license. Get your own. And then you just select that. You add it to the flight sim, right, to the project. There you go. It jumped right there. Now it's with blue. I have a license and you're good to go. Okay. Now we're going to go inside Wise. See, it says open in Wise 2019 2.5 7349. There you go. So let's open the project. First things first, let's make sure we are on the same screens. We're going to go to layout and make sure designer, select designer. All right, so we're going to start adding a work unit under default work unit. So let's go right click, new child, work unit. So I'm going to call my KDTW Jetway default. Now this is the name of the jetway of my sim object. So if you're working on a sim object, make sure you enter the same name that you have in Blender of your sim object. So I'm gonna highlight this and Control C, copy the text because we're gonna use it a couple of times. So let's go OK. Now we're gonna click on the work unit, and here we're gonna bring the sound that we just did. Okay, so I got bell sound. I'm just gonna drag it and drop it right on top. Okay, imports. I'm gonna import the sound there, and there it is. Now let's double click on the sound. Now we're gonna have the screen here. So here we're gonna go ahead and select loop. If you have a sim object and you want the sound to be just once, then you don't have to select loop. Or you can have, you do have an option to set how many loops or infinite. So for jetways, I do recommend to select the loop just in case the jetways didn't get to the aircraft and it needs more time to extend, then the loop will come in and it's not gonna cut the sound. This is the part where we're gonna set our output bus. So we're gonna click on this 3 dots, and then we have a few options here for the aircraft, for the aircraft player, aircraft AI, and then environments, right? So I think these are self-explanatory. So these are mainly for the weather, so we don't need that unless you do something for the weather. Then we have the environment ambience. For a regular sim object, I will probably go with ambient custom. But if you have water, you select water, road traffic, airports vehicle, ambient airports. So I will go for a regular sim object with this one. You can always come and play around. You can switch them around and see which one fits you. Okay. Now, because I'm doing a jetway, I'm not gonna select this one. I am actually gonna select the aircraft player. I'm gonna open that, and we're gonna go outside and miscellaneous outside. Okay, let's click OK. Now we can also set the sound distance. But to do that, we're gonna actually go to, let's close this. Let's go up here, and then we're gonna set the share sets tab here, and then under attenuation, we're gonna add a custom one that we want. You also have the options. There's a few options, presets that you can select. I tried some of them, but I didn't like the way it cuts the sound. So because of that, I created my custom one. So I'm going to show you how you do this. Now, what this does, the way the way it works, when you move away from the object, the sound will start fading out, right? Because you're moving away. It's too far, you can't hear the sound. So this is what we're gonna do here. We're gonna set the distance based on your preferences. So let's go ahead and click on default work unit, right click, new child. I'm gonna say work unit. Now this one cannot be the name of your let's say object. So I'm gonna say all seat room and then attenuations, right? Just give it a different name. Okay, so it's there. Now let's click on that. I'm gonna right click on that, new child, new attenuation. This one actually can stay the name because I'm gonna actually add in the end a underscore line. I'm gonna say 100 meters. So like this, next time I'm coming in, I know what's this for. So it's for a jetway. Now even this name cannot be the same, so you have to do a different name because it doesn't like it. But because I put 100 meters in the end, it's a different name, so it's okay with that. So let's double click on that, and then we have this window here. So this is where you set the maximum distance. Now you can call this anything you want. I just call it 100 meter because I'm gonna actually add another one that is gonna be 60 meters. I wanna divide them and see and know exactly which one I'm talking about. Now you can name it whatever you have. If you have just one sim object, then you don't need to add more. But you can always come here and change the distance based on your preferences. So for this, I'm gonna set 100. If I hover the mouse over this line, I can right click and then it gives you a different curves, how it cuts the sound. I like the S curve, so I'm gonna select that. Okay, let's close this, and then like I said, I'm just gonna really fast add another attenuation here, and it's gonna be the same name, underscore 60 meters. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same here. All right, S curve. Now if I play the sound right now, nothing is gonna happen, but I'll show you in a little bit. So okay, we did the attenuation. Let's Control S, Control Save. Okay, we're gonna go back to the audio, and then I'm gonna go back to the audio sound, bell sound. Open this again. So here we're gonna go to positioning, and then we're gonna select speaker panning. I'm gonna select balance fade. If this was is unticked, just tick on that one. 3D specialization, I'm gonna go positioning plus orientation. Speaker panning, 3D specialization mix 100. Leave it like that. Attenuation, if it's unticked, tick on that one. So now if I click on this double arrows, now we have, like I said, all these presets that comes with. But I'm gonna go to default work unit, old seat room attenuation, and for this one I'm gonna choose the 100 meters. So you see how nicely it organized, and then that's it. So now we set the distance on the sound. Okay, was this. Now we're gonna go ahead and click on this icon here, and here's the tool where you can set the loop, how to be played. Remember, I left this noise in the end. So how can you leave that one out? The way, it's very simple. You have those two cubes on the bottom. I'm going to move the right one somewhere around there, and that is going to leave that part out. Now with these triangles on the top, you can set the fade in and fade out. See how it fades out the sound in the end. So I'm just going to do it somewhere around there. Now in the beginning, my sound, it is coming fading in, so I don't have to do this, but you have that option in the end, in the beginning too. And then we have these icons on the top, one red, one green. So I'm just going to bring the red one just about there, where the blue line. And then the green one, I'm going to bring it actually somewhere on there. So this is where it's creating the loop. So when the sound comes to the end, it will not go back to the beginning to play. It will play it. It will continue to play it from this green light. Okay. So let's go crossfade duration. I'm going to set that to 100. So now you have funny things here, some lines here. So what's happening? It's fading out the sound in the end while it's fading in. So it doesn't sound, it's repeating. So let's hear that. So it doesn't, it's smooth transitions, right? So make sure you bring the cursor to the beginning, and we're done here. Okay, now this step, the next step, what I'm going to do, it's mainly for jetways. If you work on a sim object or something else, you don't have to do this. So for jetways, I'd recommend to copy this. I'm going to click on the bell sound, go copy, go to the work unit, select that one, right click, and then we're going to say paste. Now it's going to add another bell sound, and then it's going to name it 01. You can leave it like that. It's just your XML. The name has to match with this, whatever you have here. Now my XML, it's actually, I call that one inside. So I'm just going to name this one here, so I don't have to do that in XML. So everything stays the same. The only thing, because we copy that one, the position is there, right? But for this one, I'm just going to go back here and set the position to 60 instead of 100. And then to under general settings, instead of miscellaneous outside, I'm just gonna actually go inside. So I'm under aircraft player inside, and then I'm gonna set miscellaneous inside for the bus, for the audio bus to go. Okay. Also, what I'm gonna do on this one, I'm gonna lower what it says voice just a little bit, the sound, maybe 6 -7, just maybe -6, just a little bit. So it gives you, it's the same sound, but when you go inside the cockpit, it feels like you hear it from outside by lowering the volume. So we're gonna trick it, right? Okay, it's gonna be the same loop and everything stays the same. Okay, now next step, it's gonna be we're gonna click on event, and then again default work unit. I'm gonna click on that, right click, new child, work unit, control V. Oh, nope, it didn't remember that. Okay, KD TW Jetway, oops, Jetway default. Okay, let me copy and paste this again. I mean, copy, control C. Okay, I keep it the same. Okay, so here we're gonna click on that, right click, new child, and we're gonna say play. Now leave play there, don't erase it, underscore line, control V, and then underscore, and then we're gonna say bell sound, and that's the name of the audio, the bell sound. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. So for Jetways, because we have two different sounds, we're actually gonna go back here and create another play, right? And this one, let's go underscore, control V, underscore, bell sound, underscore inside. So we named that one as the second wave file here, okay? Again, this is just for Jetways, right? So default bell sound, let's go the first one first. Let's go with the first one. I'm gonna double click on that and then go to audio and grab the bell sound and drag it right there. Okay, I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna go back to events and then click on the play, the bell sound inside, double click on that, go to audio and grab that audio file and drag it in there. Okay, let's close this. All right, so now we're gonna go to sound banks. Now on the main sound bank folder, click on that, right click, new child, work unit. I'm gonna call it the same, control V. Okay, and here we're gonna click on that, right click, new child, new sound bank, and yeah, we can call it the same. Okay, I'm gonna double click on that, and then we're gonna go to events, and I'm gonna bring the entire event in there. Okay, all right, almost done. And close this. Now let's go back to sound banks, and here we're gonna go to layout, and then we're gonna select sound bank, and we have our sound bank on the list. Now we are going to select all of this, select platform and language, okay, and here is where you stop if you don't have a license. Get the license, then come back, save your project, and then come back here and continue after you assign the license to the project. Okay, because you're gonna mess up everything, because what we're gonna do next is we're gonna click on generate all. So it's gonna take all the sounds that are available in the sim, including yours, and combine them. zero warning, zero errors, zero fatal errors. So if you have a warning like this, I notice sometimes it does that. I don't know if this is a mistake or not, or a glitch. Just go into share set and rename this share set. You don't have to rename it, just act like you rename it, right? You just go rename and then enter. For some reason, I don't know why it does that, but I noticed that I didn't change anything. I just did that and then come back to sound banks and then generate all again, and it should be good to go. Okay, let's close this and control save. We're not done yet, I know. Let's minimize, don't close the project, let's minimize this, and then we're gonna go to, okay, I can close this. We're gonna go to the Audiokinetic launcher. You go to Wwise, right? And it says, you know what it says, we can close this. I mean, when it says launch Wwise here to the arrow, click on that. You're gonna click on launch file packager, right? You get this guy. All right, let's go file, open. Now you're gonna go to where you start your project. In my case was SDK, right? SDK samples, Wwise samples, Wwise sample project, right? And then we're gonna click on the pck.p_PC file. Let's go open. Now you should see your project there, right? Your sound bank, not project. Okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna come on the bottom here. We're gonna say add, and we can highlight everything, and then Control V, and then we're gonna say dot, and it's all caps, pc.pck. Enter. Right. Let's move this to the right so you can see what's going on. They're all called the same. You see, so we just create kdtw jetway_default.pc.pck, right? So make sure that's selected. Oh, sorry. Let's select that, and then we're gonna grab this guy right here, the one that we create the sound bank, and drag it right in there. Okay. File size, it shows you 331.4 kilobytes on my case. Okay, let's go file, save. Right, we can close this guy. Now let's go back to Wwise, and then we are going to generate again all the packages. There you go. One message, 0 warning, 0 error, 0 fatal error, and that's what we want. Close. Congratulations, you have the sound, but you're not done yet. All right, let's close. We can save this. Almost done, I promise. We can close this. Now we're gonna go back to that SDK sample project, whatever you have, Wwise sample project, and we're gonna go to generated sound banks, and yours should be on this list. If it doesn't, you didn't do it right. So let's go drop that one inside team objects, landmarks, jetways. Now I created a sound.ai. Let's leave it like that. I think you can just create a sound folder. I just did it with sound AI. It works the way I did it. So let's go copy that one from there and then paste it in there. All right. And one last thing that we need to do is, hold on, I already have I'm just gonna go get the backup here because I already have the XML file. So I'm gonna copy this and then paste it right there. Okay, so we need to add the XML file, right, which it's called, it's called sound.ai.xml, the same like the folder. So on the XML file, you have the Wwise package, main package, which is your SIM object name, right? In my case was Jetway KDTW Jetway default. You're gonna set your name in there, and then under sound you have Wwise data true, Wwise event. That's the name of the WAV file, bell sound, fade out type 2, fade out type 1. SIM var, it's going to be a Jetway moving. Unit ball, and then range. I'm not sure if this is actually doing anything, but we're just going to set lower bound 1, upper bound 100. This might be related to something else. I'm not that familiar with the XML files. If you guys want to check and Jetway, the SIM var options that you have, I think Mamo Design has a video and shows you and explains how SIM vars works. So if you haven't follow him on Discord, I will recommend you do. He has a video regarding that and how to check the SIM vars. Also, you can check on documentation, Microsoft Flight Simulator documentation, and it shows you what SIM vars you can use for a SIM object. One thing that we need to do is, if you're working on a SIM object, just one SIM object, then this is what you need. Now, because I added a different, a secondary sound for the jetways to be heard inside the cockpit, then we need to add, basically you can just copy this and paste it again. I already have it here. So we're gonna add another sound, which is pretty much the same. It's just the name. Remember, I said that bell sound inside, and we entered that name here, where when you are inside the cockpit, it's gonna play this sound. Okay, and then you just save this. So you go to your project and then build your project again, and let's see what we did. Alright, so I'm gonna connect the jetways, and I'm gonna be quiet for you guys to hear. So I'll do it in the cockpit, then outside, and then in the end I'm gonna add FSL-TL traffic to see that it works even for the AI aircrafts based on the distance when the jetways are connected to the AI aircraft. So let's I'm gonna use the ATC from here, ground services, and let's see.
Ground Allset 1, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
Allset 1, the jetway is going to be connected.
Ground Allset 1, could you please disconnect the jetway from the aircraft?
So there you have it, guys. Till next time, happy flying.